Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the How to Pitch Games podcast. I'm Corey from the Biz Dev and Licensing team here at tinyBuild Games. Okay, episode 4, we're over the hump of the original trilogy and straight up into canon. So guys, don't miss a thing. Hit that subscribe button if you know what's coming. We love hanging out with you guys, and we've got even more awesome games and guests coming up. 2 more pitches today, but first, let's meet our hyper awesome panel. First off, we've got a new tiny builder to introduce you to today. You guys have absolutely no clue how important this person is. She's the very producer of this podcast, the veritable Wizard of Oz behind all the digital scenes. It's Jingtong Zhu. Jingtong, how does it feel to be on this side of the podcast camera?
It feels very exciting to be on a different side of the camera, and thank you so much for your amazing introduction.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do to put this together, Jingtong. Also joining us is returning champion and all-around A-tier human being extraordinaire, Flex-It Buddy, Vladimir Dolmakev, tinyBuild producer. Vladimir, we missed you, buddy. What have you been up to lately?
Hey, we actually just signed a game called Hosey and announced it on tinyBuild Connect, so I was busy with, and I hope that by the time we release this podcast, we will be really close to releasing another 2 great games.
Love that. Love the plugs. Okay, guys, huddle here. Pitch question of the day. When is the best time to send your playable to a publisher or funder? Vladimir, you're more experienced. You go first.
Okay, I would say that if you send a pitch, please send the playable as well.
Short
that's
and sweet.
That's it. If you want the details too, basically, please be sure that the build that you have highlight the USPs that you have in your pitch deck. For example, if you think that art is your USP, please have at least a beauty corner in there. Maybe not the whole game, maybe dots and just placeholder models, but just some beauty corners so we can take a look on it and see that you can deliver that. If your game is based on systems, that at least some of them should be in place so we can check if they're working, if your design is great, if you're going into the right direction. It shouldn't be perfect, but it should highlight your USPs clearly.
I love that. Make your pitch deck a real sales pitch. Highlight what's going to attract gamers and us as your funders at the same time. Great point, Vladimir. Jingtong, what say you?
I absolutely agree with what Vladimir just said. I do want to add one more thing. So realistically, I know that a lot of developers, especially indie developers, are working with very limited resources and funding when they prepare a playable for publishers. So I think it's really important to be strategic to choose which areas you want to focus on in the build and basically consider how else you can show the final vision of the game without necessarily having to include those content in the build. So I always love to see when a developer sends us some kind of mock-ups or screenshots or concept art or like a short document explaining the scale of the game when they send us the pitch. So I think that's something that can definitely add value to your early playable.
Right. Hook us with the build in and of itself, but then tease us with more. Another great tip. Love it. Okay, guys, thanks for your tips today, and let's get on with some pitches. Next up, guys, is Prashast from Pariah, an awesome dev straight out of Brooklyn and Mumbai with their game 1000 Deaths. What's going on, Prashast? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's a great day, and I'm really happy to be here.
Amazing. Happy to have you. Okay, so 1000 Deaths is a psychedelic 3D platformer described as Kotaku as a game, quote, that feels like every weird Adult Swim animated show thrown together into a blender. You gotta love that. Before tinyBuild, I worked in sales in the kids animation world. So I got to know, how did animation, Adult Swim, surreal animation from your youth influence your design for 1000 Deaths?
Yeah, so animations from my youth, of course, are really inspiring. The main thing I take away from it is how they would portray very serious themes and messages, but wrap them in humor. Oftentimes that they're digestible by kids, you know. Rewatching some of that as an adult, I realized, man, this is deep, you know? Like, you don't see that as a kid, you just kind of think it's funny. But as an adult, it's kind of deep. So that I took in my stride, and as I was building this platformer, we did wrap it in a story, and that's a choice-based narrative. So you have mini platforming hubs throughout the game, and at the end of them, you do get these kind of surreal animations, almost like a reward. It is interactable, you can move around, but there are these like very fast cutscenes with sometimes really crazy animations. And I think that's why Kotaku said that.
Amazing. So cool. Let's jump right into the pitch.
Hi, I'm presenting 1000 Deaths, which is a 3D platformer where your choices matter. Basically, the game has a series of mini platforming hubs that are encountered by the player based on the decisions they make. You have 4 playable characters, and you go from their birth to death. It blends 2 familiar gameplay modes, 3D platformer with choose your own adventure. So you encounter dilemmas over your character's life, and you complete gravity bending challenges within their head spaces or inside their minds to resolve these dilemmas and unlock choices that lead to new narrative paths, which unlock new platforming hubs with different flavors of levels. So in this trailer, we show some of the gameplay, which has this gravity bending mechanic that is the crux of all the levels, but we use it in sometimes action-packed ways and other times more puzzly ways. And we have these 4 characters who basically frame the whole experience. And we have an arcade mode where you can beat your times and collect trophies, or you can play very casually. All the levels are designed in a way that casual and hardcore gamers can get something out of it. Easy to play, hard to master. So some of the features of the game is that there is a truly branching narrative. Every time you make a choice, the narrative changes completely. We have gravity bending mechanics, as you saw in the trailer. We have bold psychedelic 3D graphics, which you've hopefully seen on the internet. An eclectic cast of characters with replayable episodes, because you want to come back and see what your choice could have been. And then, of course, speedrunning and time attacks. So, in our opinion, the USP for this game is that 1000 Deaths charts progress in a non-linear way. 3D platformers are all about finishing levels one by one, whereas in 1000 Deaths, the choices you make are going to change the vibe of the level. So if you're not vibing with the platforming hub you've unlocked, you can go back, make another choice, and maybe the other platforming hub is easier for you, and you can progress with the game. So to finish the game, it could take you a few hours, or you could really get into it, open all the choices and take a lot more time. So who is this for? We try to design the game for casual and hardcore players and for lovers of platformers, be it 3D or 2D, and those who enjoy branching narrative where you have to make choices. Speedrunners, of course, and adventurous players looking for something new. This is the non-linearity of the game. It offers like the interspersing of fast and slow thinking, where the slow part is making the choices and the fast part is finishing the platforming challenges, which are always under a minute. And our demographics, we're looking at sort of millennials who have this nostalgic, perhaps, attachment to this art style. And we're looking to target PC, PS5, Xbox, and Switch, with PC on launch, PS5 shortly after, then Xbox, then Switch in a staggered release. Some market history here. We've outlined a few games that have done well in the genre, just to like give ourselves the perspective of what works in terms of our genre and what we can take forward into our game. Our current production timeline is very advanced. We are in the pre-launch phase. We're doing a marketing push right now, and we just went through Steam Next Fest. We are launching on August 7th, so it's happening very, very soon. What we need is, when we look for publisher, is of course funding just for that final bit. We need marketing help, someone to get visibility and eyeballs on our game. For distribution, as I said, like Xbox and Switch are coming up soon, so we would love help with console porting. And then the most important thing is chemistry. Someone who's excited about the game, as excited as we are, if not even more. Those are the things that we look for. So I will end this presentation by telling you to play the demo. It's on Steam, on PS5 soon. And yeah, look up 1000 Deaths, and I hope you enjoy it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Prashast, for the pitch. And let's kick it over to our panel for their thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the pitch. If Jintan doesn't mind, I'll go first. So can you please go to the very first or second slide of your presentation? Just gameplay. Yeah, this one about. So as I liked how you talked about the game. I like how you were passionate about it, and I really like how you described it in voice. Like when you were talking about it, I think that elevator pitch sounded much better compared to what you have here in text. It just was sharper and shorter. So maybe just go back and see what he talked about, and just use these 2-3 sentences instead of more lengthy pitch that is here. It just you have it formalized like pretty well. Just use it. I think it's pretty good. So that's first thing that I would change. And you nailed it when you were talking about the game. So yeah, I can imagine how that works. So just put it on the slide. So what else I would love to see in the pitch is that you mentioned, and I really like this cool feature that you have these dilemmas and you influence how the life changes. It would be great if you could bring an example in the pitch, because it's like a big emphasis that, like, I don't know, this is the branching path, and if you make this decision, you will go, I don't know, you will join the military, or if you do this decision, you will become an artist, and a graffiti artist, maybe like a new Banksy, something like that, and how that influence and the platforming. A bit, for example, of like that. I know that I'm going to extremes. I just don't know at all what choices will be in the game. So that would be really cool if you can get an example, just a taste of how it will be. Yeah, and I just don't want to be talking for too long. I have a couple of comments, but I first pass mic to Jinton, and then I can get back to it.
Yeah, thank you, Vladimir. I actually have almost exact opinion like what you mentioned. I think one thing that intrigued me the most is the narrative, because on the slide where you showcased the USP, there was this great graph of all the branches. Yeah, if you go back to that one. I think that's really amazing. And with this kind of graph, I don't know whether that's a screenshot or more like a design showcase, but it's very visual. It basically visually shows you how the mechanic works. I think that's very impressive. So again, I would also love to get like a more concrete example of the narrative branches. And beyond that, I would love it if you can explain a little bit of the lore of the game, because you mentioned that there will be 4 characters, but what exactly are going to happen to them. The reason I feel so curious about it because the game has such a unique art style. Although you mentioned that you take a lot of inspiration from, for example, cartoons, but it's also more of a weird, surreal art style. Reminds me of Psychonauts and Hylix, and these are not usual references. So I think if you can throw something into the pitch deck to connect the dots, that would be very satisfying for a publisher. Yeah, would you like to share more thoughts, Vladimir?
Yeah, and that's great that you mentioned examples that were. Can you go to the slide where you like had the marketing analysis or something? I guess an example of other games. Yeah. Okay. So here, ahead in time, I don't know about that game. I think Psychonauts and Pizza Tower are pretty good examples. I would say that Chained Together and Neon White are a bit intriguing for me. Why have you decided to add them as an examples to the pitch?
Well, Neon White is because of its speedrunning aspect, and we have also similar tiered trophy system where you can get bronze, silver, gold, platinum trophies, and bronze is like more for casual players, and it's a little bit of challenge. Whereas like platinum, you need to be very dexterous and precise. So Neon White shares that feature with us, and I thought I could put it in. We are looking to, get into the speedrunning community with our game. So that's the shared bit there. With Chained Together, I think it's a little bit of wishful thinking of like, okay, if we could go viral in a similar way, have a moment. But yeah, it is a third-person platformer that came out in recent memory. So that's another reason it's there.
Okay, I would say Chained Together feels a bit weird to me because it's like, maybe I'm wrong and Ben will say, yeah, Vladimir, you don't know anything about that game. But if I remember right, it's like a co-op game where you need to pass the platforming obstacles. And I think that co-op feature is a really big one here for that game. So I wouldn't really bring it to example for a single player game. Yeah, the rest, now White, I could get the logic here. That's fine, but Chained Together, I think it's a bit like you said it yourself. It's a reach a bit too far. I was like very surprised. I'm starting asking I would start asking the questions: will there be co-op in 1000 Days, or what does it imply, etc.? And there won't be. So, but I would suggest removing it because the other four are pretty strong ones anyway, and you can keep them. Yeah, and that's probably all of my comments on the pitch itself. I have one small feedback piece when we have time. Okay, we have. So if you could go to the audience screen, where you said like all genders from 18 to 12 to 35. So I must warn you to be very cautious to whom you create the game, because we've noticed with Spider Hack, the couch co-brawler that we have, that the younger the audience, the more fast-paced action they're looking for in those games. And when you go, I would say, older than 25, then you start looking into more strategically into that. Like you want things to be a bit slower paced and a bit deeper, maybe. It just a general sense that we got from the audience. So just be very careful to whom you tailor the game. More to this casual audience that just probably don't have that much time to master it, or just other reason they don't like that it to be that fast-paced compared to younger audience. So just a small experience sharing from what we've seen in Spider Hack, because for us it's also were like, in terms of what people wanted, they were pretty different. We need more action, we need less action. Like you need the guns to shoot faster, you need the guns to reload slower, but you need to allow me to aim throughout the whole level. That would couch co-brawler problems. Maybe for platforming it might be kind of similar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it-
If you don't mind, I would also like to add a few comments.
Yeah. Sure, Jinton. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. In the beginning, when Corey introduced you, I believe that he mentioned a quote from Kotaku. Yeah. So I would suggest that, because I also checked the Steam page prior to meeting you today, and on the Steam page you have quite a few media quotes or reviews from very big media. I would definitely suggest throwing these quotes into the slides. I'm not sure if you already got it somewhere, because I would say it's a huge advantage and even privilege to be able to be noticed by those media before the game is even out. So I think that's a very strong point if you include that. And beyond that, while you were pitching the game, you also mentioned that the game was recently part of Steam Next Fest. I know that Next Fest literally just ended like 3 days ago while we were recording this video. This is for the viewers. But if you have any good-looking numbers or stats from Steam Next Fest, such as median playtime, downloads, or like this one big streamer or YouTuber played the game, just make sure to add those numbers there. Again, publishers these days, they really like to get clear evidence of traction, which is in some ways a little bit sad. But if you have that, that's definitely a very strong advantage. Yeah, I think that's the comments that I have for now.
Thanks for that insight. We do have an appendix in our deck, which we will send, that has a lot more kind of information. It does have the showcases. I do agree we can put some stats from Next Fest here, though. I think that's smart, as well as the quotes. I think now that you mention it, that would make a really good impression. So we'll definitely do that going forward.
Awesome. Well, panel, thank you so much for your feedback. And Prashast, thank you for the awesome, cool pitch. All right, first up, it's Carlos Martinez, CEO of Dust Games in Spain. Welcome to How to Pitch Games, Carlos. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm fun. So thank you very much to invite us to have some feedback on our pitch, and it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. So today, you're coming to us with your hilariously chaotic vacuum fighter Roombattle. Okay,
Yeah.
tell us, why do you think cleanliness and cleaning products are trending these days? tinyBuild has our new game Hosey, wishlisted on Steam. Why is it trending these days? What do you think?
I think that because cleaning, it's like a boring thing that we must do. Like we don't have any avoidance on clean our home. So giving some experience, like taking this boring thing and giving on a funny way, on a hilarious way, also to share these fun things with your friends. It's, I think, that very, very grateful, because you maybe see the cleaning like in a funnier way when you need to do that at home. I don't know. But yes, absolutely. Like it's a thing that I really love, like that it's popular, because it's like giving some fun to common things. Like I really love that.
Amazing. Thanks. Awesome, Carlos. All right, let's get to the pitch for Roombattle.
Do you know what happens when you leave your home with your vacuum cleaner working alone? So let's see. Roombattle is a vacuum cleaner party fighting game when players plays as a vacuum cleaners with balloons at the back and sharp object at the front. So they need to pop the rivals' balloons and to try not to be popped, because it wins the last vacuum on the rooms. Also, we have like a lot of different power-ups lot of different interactables on the maps. Like each theme have different interactable. For example, the TV in a living room, in the museum, the dinosaur that left their bones. Also, we have a lot of crazy mini games. As if you win that mini game round, it will give some special advantage that it's called mystery skill in the next round. So Roombattle is a very colorful, family-friendly game to only have fun. So why Roombattle? Because it's the only vacuum cleaner fighting game in the world. There are wholesome party battles, so there is no only fighting with violence, with blood. It's in a wholesome way. There's no blood, there's only balloons and vacuum cleaners and sharp, funny objects. For example, like a plumber, I don't know. Sky is the limit. Also, that game will be online and local multiplayer, so you can play at your home with your friends online, and also meet in a same place and play with your friends and have great fun. Also, battle is not the only game mode that we will have at Roombattle, as we can see later. So at this point, we have more or less the half of the game development. We are now like testing the demo online at this moment, and we are planning launching the game at the first quarter of next year, 2026. So what are the game modes on Roombattle? It will be like free-for-all, like battling with some minigames round, teams, bots, and also only minigames mode. So in this case, we will have these both worlds, like fighting in a wholesome, funny way, and also the minigame, also this more party game classic way to play the Roombattle. So the main platforms are PC, especially Steam, and Nintendo Switch, as you can imagine, for the tone of the game, for the target of the game, like our friends, family, social players, and the genre is like this mixed genre, like party fighting game. Also, it's a multiplayer game and very casual. As you can see, it's very easy to play. You only need a joystick and 2 buttons, so it's very accessible to everyone to have fun in Roombattle. The revenue model that we are planning, it's a one-time payment, more or less around 10 euros, and also it's a very expansive, and very moldable game, as we can add a lot, infinite tons of customizations, collaborating with another IPs, so we can add after launch new customization, new maps, new minigames, new game modes, and also if the publisher that it's agree, we can also add customization in a Among Us way, that we love this like battle pass that use at Among Us, so it will be similar on that we are designing. So what are our reference? Like Boomerang Fu, a very hilarious party fighting game where you play as a banana and you throw a boomerang. If you don't know it, I recommend it. Also, Fling to the Finish, Bubble Battle, and the top of them, Party Animals, that also is a reference because it works really well at social media, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. So it's a reference how they communicate. The team, we are a young team located in Barcelona, most of us. And also we have the support of Game BCN, an incubation program here in Barcelona, Level Up, and a pre-incubation program in Barcelona, and also Catalanars that, for example, we will go to Bit Summit at Gamescom this year. So what do we need at this point? We need help at porting, as you can imagine, also marketing and PR at launch, and funding. The number that you can see, it also involves like marketing, porting, and the development that we need to finish the game. So that's it. Trust on our raccoons, and the fun will arrive to your homes. So now I appreciate the feedback that you will give us. Thank you.
Awesome, Carlos. Thank you so much for the pitch of Roombattle. You really cleaned up there. And we're going to shift away from my bad puns and onto our panel with their feedback. Ping Tong and Vladimir, what do you guys think of Roombattle?
Maybe I can go first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
First of all, thank you so much for your great pitch. Personally, I really love the color palette that you have for the pitch deck. I think it highlights the fun and wholesome energy of the game really well. Secondly, I I like your touch of humor. I think it definitely adds more personality to the pitch process. Another thing that I like about the pitch is the slide where you shared your business model. If you can go back to the slide, that would be great.
Of course. Here.
Yes. So I really like the fact that you already take into consideration on the price point as well as the potential to add more content and DLC to the game. I think that shows to publishers that the game can have more value in the long term. And I feel that this is not something that a lot of developers do in the pitches. And obviously, the whole structure of the pitch is very complete. I don't think there's any like major piece of information that I find missing here. So the suggestion that I will give you from this point is mostly just to some ideas that I hope you find useful.
Okay. Thank you very much also for the feedback.
So I guess the biggest piece of feedback I have is about the gameplay. So obviously in the beginning you used a very nice gameplay video to try to explain the gameplay mechanic, which I think is a very good approach. But after seeing the gameplay video and basically going through the slides, I feel that my impression of the game isn't super strong yet. So I think it's very clear to me what kind of game it's going to be, but how it will be different from any other like party games in the market beyond the point that you'll be playing as a vacuum cleaner is a little bit unclear, if that makes sense. So I remember that you have a slide that's like USP, I think, in the beginning. Oh, this one. So I think the only thing that can be counted as a strong USP on this slide might be the first one, which is vacuum cleaner fighting. All the other ones seems to be also present in the competition titles that you referenced in later of the slides. So I would suggest maybe digging a bit deeper into the mechanics. So now we know that the player will be playing as a vacuum cleaner, but what exactly does that mean? What kind of vacuum cleaning things that they would do in the game, and what kind of fun interactions they will have between each other? Basically, the drama, the fun, the humor. It would be great if you can show that maybe through some GIFs or some short explanations of the in-game mechanic that you design for such interactions.
Yes, that's a really, I don't know, continue, sorry.
Yeah, if you have any thoughts, feel free to share.
Yeah, no, I think that the feedback is absolutely correct because, for example, as a vacuum cleaner, you destroy all the rooms and then you can clean all. So that's a feature that we don't show at the pitch, and I think that it will give some value because it's like a very fun way to destroy and later clean the room. So yeah, I mean, absolutely agree on what you tell on remarking these more different points that our game have, and maybe in this USP part we don't show at all. Yeah, of course.
That actually sounds really interesting because in the beginning, Corey actually asked you basically why is cleaning such a trending mechanic in the game these days. But from your slides, I actually didn't get the impression that there is going to be like cleaning related mechanics in the game. So I would say if you have like a GIF showing you're cleaning and you're also fighting, I think that will look super fun.
Yeah.
And I guess another piece of feedback, which may be a bit big, but again, just a piece of thought that I have. So right now the game is called Roombattle. I think as a name that sounds a little bit generic to me. I hope that's not too strong of a word.
And Roomba will come after you. Believe me, we had a game called Justice Sucks, and initially it was the Roomba Killing Machine Simulator or something like that. And you can't believe it, but it seemed that people who create robot vacuum cleaners don't want their name to be associated with killing machines. So be ready. They might nod at you, and maybe you'll escape his Roombattle, but there is a possibility that they will ask you to redo it.
We asked that to some lawyers, and they told us that we are like room battles, like they fight on rooms, because that it's a feature on the game that they fight on the rooms. So it's a little bit like I understand what the worry, but the lawyers that we have been talking about it, they say that they think that there is no problem, and also we have registered like the mark, like the brand on European Union, like in EWIPO. So I think that's no problem. We don't have any problem about this. I don't know, but yes, this is a consideration that we have been asked some experts because we were also worried about that.
Yeah. But it's never, it's always like that. I think you are pretty safe. But then, for example, you pop up, you become popular, and then you get a lawsuit. And then at the end, you will beat it. You will be allowed to be named room battles, but the momentum will be not there. So just be careful about that. Yeah,
okay.
Jintan, sorry.
Thanks.
Oh, I just wanted to remark that surprisingly, tinyBuild had experience with vacuum cleaning games.
Yeah.
Actual expertise.
Yeah. Is it? Can I do my comments?
Please go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you for coming with an awesome pitch. I'm trying to be short. So I like the pitch, and I think the Jintan nailed pretty well the only big piece of feedback that I have. There are just two small ones. First, when you will be expanding on USPs, the thing that publishers will always ask you and are always afraid about. So you mentioned that the game is 6 players PvP, right?
Yeah.
So be ready to answer the question, will it be fun for me just playing with one friend? Or will it be fun for me playing alone? That's what publisher will ask you, maybe at the call, and it's great if you get to the call, but if you get it into the pitch that you at least thought about it, that's will be a plus point. At least for me, it will be a plus point.
Okay.
So, and can you please open the roadmap slide?
Yeah.
Real quick. So I like the slide, just it was a bit confusing to me. It took me a bit of time, like, okay, the demo online development is almost done, like 45% done. And then 5 months later, you'll be at 100%, right? And then it will be the demo, and then it will launch. But at launch, there is also 100%. So just a bit confusing at what stage you are in. Just remove the percentage there, and it will be fine, So you're now in 5 months, you'll have the beta online, and then in Q1 you're ready to launch. You give enough information, and this percentage just requires an extra thought to process. What does it mean? And it's not really important here. So you can remove it, and the slide will be even more clear.
Thank you very much for the feedback. This is a thing that I didn't take care about it. So so I really appreciate that, and we will fix it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and otherwise it's a great pitch.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, Carlos, thank you so much for coming to us with Roombattle today.
Thank you for inviting us.
And that's a wrap for this episode of How to Pitch Games. We had some great pitches today. Thanks again to all the developers for sharing their work. Remember to show these devs some love, guys. Give them a follow and wishlist those games and get them on all their socials. If today's episode got you thinking about pitching your own game, we've got a great way to help you get started. We're thrilled to announce our partnership with DevGam, the host of Online Pitch, a monthly review session on their Discord server. It's a great way to get private, constructive feedback from industry professionals before stepping out into the spotlight. And the best part, the winner of each session will get a chance to be on this podcast. While you're at it, check out the DevGam Awards 2025, now open for submissions with a $100,000 prize pool. The deadline to apply is September 1st, so don't miss out. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us for more updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on How to Pitch Games.